All right, to tell us more about this issue, we are being joined by Dr. Nigel Fletcher, who is a political analyst and commentator from London. Welcome to the broadcast, Nigel.
Hello.
Dr. Fletcher, the row is only threatening to further erode relations in the Conservative Party. How do you see this going forward?
Well, I think, as you said in the introduction, it's now descended to the level of name-calling, really, between the two Prime Ministers, Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister, and Rishi Sunak. So we've got the extraordinary prospect now of two versions of events over a particular meeting that they held, where it seems that Boris Johnson is claiming that what Rishi Sunak has today said happened at that meeting is wrong. So it's quite complicated, but essentially this is about the resignation honours list. As you explained, there is a convention now in British politics that outgoing prime ministers submit a list of honours to recognise their gratitude to people who have served them during their time in office. And there's been speculation about this for months over the potential of a number of former cabinet ministers, current MPs, including Nadine Dorries, who were suggested as being on this list. Now, that's what is at the heart of this, because Boris Johnson is now saying that he was not asking Rishi Sunak to overrule the independent commission, who had said that they weren't going to approve those names. He was saying that he just wanted Rishi Sunak to delay the announcement and resubmit them at a later date. So, I mean, it is quite a sort of detailed issue about who said what to who. But the significance, I think, of it is that it just shows us once again the complete breakdown in relations that there is between the current Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, and his predecessor. They both worked together very closely in government. It was Boris Johnson who appointed Rishi Sunak as Chancellor, and yet now they really are at daggers drawn here over not just this one particular issue,
right,
but over a whole range of things.
Nigel, now Dorries and Adams have quit the Commons, triggering the very by-elections Sunak was keen not to cause by giving them peerages in the first place. What's the next for the Conservative Party? Where do they go from here?
Well, there have been a lot of people today talking about the need for the Conservative Party to move on. We've had senior cabinet ministers, including Michael Gove and others, who have been very keen to take to the airwaves and call on the party to put this behind them and move on. I think there is a recognition here that a fresh round of infighting in the party, going back to the turbulent few years that we've had over the last few years, with the government and the Conservative Party changing leader and attacking one another, they're recognising now that that would be a very bad thing to do. So I think that there's a hope that this is not going to trigger an ongoing battle. It's notable that only these three MPs, Boris Johnson and the two others, have decided to join this sort of mutiny and sort of standing down. They haven't been followed by others, and the voices of people voicing their support for Boris Johnson have been quite quiet. And I think it's probably the case now that those who even were previously supportive of him are really quite annoyed at him for what he's done in terms of causing this problem for the Conservative Party. And I think sympathy with him has declined. So whilst you said earlier that there is a degree of support for him in the Conservative Party and in the country, it's perhaps not as big as people think it is. Right. And I think that what a lot of people have been saying today is that the party needs to move on from that.
Right. Thank you for your valuable inputs, Nigel. That was Dr. Nigel Fletcher joining us from London on the broadcast.